Hi, Maxine. Thanks so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you taking the time out to do this quick little interview.
No worries.
So we've just come back from the conference in Queensland, which was amazing. Yeah.
That was great.
The energy in that room was phenomenal. It was so nice to
Yeah.
connect with a lot of you transformologists there as well. Just was the
Yeah.
right space for me.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun also. So it wasn't, only just learning. It was also connecting in the evenings and lots of fun. So I really liked the learning side of it, but then we had the relaxing side of it.
Yeah, yeah, and the connection which all of us women love.
Yes. Yeah.
So when did you first get introduced to Creatrix?
So what happened was when COVID had hit, we obviously in Melbourne, we got hit the hardest for lockdown, and I lost both jobs. So I had a job in a display home working 2 days a week, just casual. And I also had my own beauty business of 12 years. And we weren't allowed to do beauty services. So I lost both jobs. And originally I thought it's probably going to be a couple of months. I didn't realize it was going to go so long. So I thought I'm going to be bored. I need to jump online and find something. And also, I had this issue before of feeling lonely. So you could imagine being in lockdown, not being able to see anybody. That would have made me feel even worse. So I had lots of reasons to want to find something, to make me feel better as well. So I kind of jumped online and, was Googling, and I came across Maz. And at first I was like, oh, yeah. And then I thought I'll listen a bit more. And then I listened a bit more and I was like, the light bulb moment went off where she had mentioned the missing piece. And that's what I felt like. I felt like there was a missing piece within me because I'd done so many like self-development courses and, like Tony Robbins seminars, and I'd done hypnotherapy. I'd been to psychologists. So I'd done a lot of like work, but I still felt lonely. So that was my reason. I wanted to search for something. I knew there was, in the pit of my stomach, I knew there was something out there. And I thought, I'm not giving up till I find it. And yeah, and then 3 years ago, I found Maz and I had my own personal breakthrough done. And one of the words in there was loneliness. And I haven't felt lonely since, and that's been 3 years. And that was gone on the first session that I had loneliness done. So just doing that one word alone was worth every single cent, because for me, that was very painful to feel lonely.
Mm.
And even sometimes I was in relationships, they weren't healthy relationships, and I felt lonely in a relationship. So it's been, now I'm single and I haven't felt lonely. So
Mm.
it's been amazing for me. And then all the other things that helped me with, I had overthinking, and I had not feeling good enough. And, I had a list of over 50 items that now I no longer feel those things about myself. So that's been made me like be able to go out and do more, believe in myself more. And that's what made me do the course, because everyone used to say when I do the beauty services, they used to say, Maxine, you're so good at, listening. And then I'd think, oh yeah, but I don't give you a solution to your problems. So I didn't feel that I could do anything like counseling or anything like that. And now that I had come across Creatrix, it was like, yeah, now I feel that in myself that I can help, because I got the right tools to be able to get them the solution now. So like you do. So
Uh-huh,
yeah.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
like we know as well, the solutions actually come from ourselves.
Yes. Yes. So it's amazing. It's just, we pretty much facilitate to get them there, and then that, like you said, comes from within them. So that's the beauty of Creatrix. And that's why it worked so well and why everything else didn't stick with me. And that was when I realized that was the missing piece.
And so how do you feel about the missing pieces now? Because you said that that was impacting your life a lot too. Are there any more missing pieces?
I don't really feel like there's missing pieces now. And even though people might say, but you're single, I got asked this the other night, like, don't you feel like there's some? And I said, no, because I just know that the right person will come along when it's meant to happen. So it's like this knowing now, and I'm comfortable with that because I'm comfortable on my own. So I don't like have those fears anymore. Like, it's a different feeling now. It's a more peaceful feeling.
That's so good to hear. Like, so
Yeah.
you can't put a price on that, can you?
No, definitely
Yeah,
not. Yeah,
yeah.
it was definitely worth every cent I've spent. I must say I have spent a lot on a lot of courses, and this would probably, I would say, was the best investment. Unfortunately, if I saw this maybe 10 years ago, I might not have been ready for it because there also had to be a certain level of awareness for myself to be open to doing something like this. And I think way back then, I had to go through that process that I went, unfortunately, the long process and the costly process.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, even if anyone's watching this now that is already at a level of awareness that they've done a lot of self-development, then this would be perfect for them, you know, or even if they've not done self-development, but they're very open-minded. I think you have to be open-minded. So, you know, if you're closed-minded and you go into it and you don't put your 100%, then you're not going to get results. But if you go in open-minded and you're like, I've tried other things, or I haven't tried other things, but I'm open to getting rid of this problem, then it will work for you.
So what were some of the other things that you tried throughout your journey?
So I think a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but some people that have done self-development know Tony Robbins, and I've done every one of his courses, and they were all great. Like, all the tools in there were good. And like, now I can use some of those tools in everyday life. But unfortunately, I'd come home from the seminars and I'd still feel that missing piece. Like, while I was there, it'd feel amazing because you're in this room full of supportive, loving energy. And then you'd come home and within a couple of weeks it'd be like, where's my cheer squad? You know, where are all those people that were supporting me and cheering me on? They're not here anymore. So as good as that was while I was there, and I traveled and, you know, met lots of beautiful people, when we all came back home, we all had our lives. So we all went off and did our own things. So, yeah, I found that one, you know, wasn't really the one for me. Hypnosis, I tried that. That worked for, you know, a year or two, but there was still a lot of other, when I say worked, I felt good when I left the session, and I felt good for like a few days. And then, you know, some things would crop back up, but then they'd settle down. But within about a year, those issues, or if I got back into a relationship, I'd be triggered, and then those issues would come back up again. So did I feel like it got rid of the issue? No. I think it did help and soften it short term, but long term, no. I tried psychologists. I went to a psychologist and I actually came out feeling worse. I came home crying one day because the reason I went to the psychologist was because I had this issue about when I was in relationships, like, men wouldn't listen to me. And then I got into the session and my psychologist wasn't listening to me. He was on his phone texting something while I was talking. And then he looked up at me and he said, oh, sorry, could you repeat what you just said? And I was so embarrassed for him. And I couldn't even say, this is what I'm paying you for. I'm coming here because I need to talk to someone that can, you know, listen to me and hear what I'm going through. And he wasn't even listening. So that day I came home and I was crying all the way home. And my daughter's like, what happened? What happened? And when I told her, she was so upset. She said, you know, Mum, that's really bad that, he did that.
Mm.
But you should send him an email and tell him. And I was, at the time, I was too embarrassed. I was a bit of a people pleaser. I didn't want to ruffle any feathers or, so I just made this big long email and never sent it. I just kept it for myself because it made me feel better putting it down, but I never ever sent it to him.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I've tried quite a few things, like read self-development books and things like that. And people say, you have to use the tools to get results. And I was using the tools, but the results weren't sticking. They were helping for a little bit. And I actually find the tools of those things help more now in life. So if I have just like a little bit of a flat day or whatever, I might do some of those things like go for a walk or go to the gym. But you try telling someone to do those things when they're just not really feeling it. They're hard things to do. But when you resolve those issues, then to go for that walk or to go to the gym feels a lot easier, even on a flat day, like if I'm, and when I say a flat day, it's because, we're women and we have cycles. So at certain time of the month, I know my 3 days because I've marked it on my calendar, and it happens always around the same week. So around those 3 days, I just accept that that's a part of the, cycle. Even though I don't get a period anymore, I still have that cycle happening.
Yeah.
So I know and I accept it, and I say that's okay. And I use some of my little tools, like go for a walk or go to the gym or do a meditation. But if I tried to do that before I had Creatrix, they didn't work. So they didn't make me feel any better. I just still felt the same.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so that's the difference, I find.
Yeah. And so you said that those other methods didn't last long term. What do you say about Creatrix in relation to that?
Oh, look, Creatrix, it's going to be 3 years this coming June of 2023. And I don't think not one thing on that list has come up that I've had worked on. Although I have done new things to do with my business because they're totally different to what my personal stuff was. So now that I want to go on social media or go on camera and stuff like that, they're new issues. So I would just go and just have a single session now, Creatrix, and get those little ones, tweaked. And then now I'm fine on camera. I don't get as nervous like I used to, so so just little things like that, like money blocks, things like that. I might go back and do, just to improve myself or better myself, why not? You got it there and it works, why not use it?
100%. I totally agree.
Yeah.
So if you could say something to some ladies that are watching this, that are maybe thinking, oh, maybe this could be for me, what would you say to them?
I would say to them, do it because it's a money back guarantee. And that's what got me over the line, because I thought I was tired of trying so many things. And I thought, you know what? It's a money back guarantee. So if it doesn't work, I get my money back. So it's a no-brainer. So if you're not doing it, then there's something else going on within you, and you need to question that. Because I used to use money as an excuse. So I think if the problem is really bothering you, then just go and do it, because you will find that it'll bring more money to you, because I've made better financial decisions now with a clearer mind. So if I stayed in that mindset, it's a little bit out of my budget, or if I stayed in that mindset, then I wouldn't be living the life I'm living now. And I don't have fear of money or not having enough anymore. And I'm not rich by far. I have a roof over my head, and I'm actually a carer for mum. So, but the decisions you make will financially will benefit you, because if you're in a scattered mind, you sometimes make decisions on scarcity. So if you're in a clear head, you make better decisions for yourself coming from like your own intuition. You know, this is right for me. This is the right thing to do. So yeah, so for me, it's actually made me money back.
Yeah.
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 I would say don't use money as an excuse. You know, save, just put that money away and do it, because it will bring you money back tenfold, and it will also, you know, your health is more important. So I'm going to be 60 in a couple of years, and, you know, I look at my mum's 82, and, you know, mum worries a lot, and worry can bring a lot of stress onto you, a lot of sicknesses. And mum's gone through a lot of health issues. So I look at that and I say, do I want to, when I'm 82, be going through all those stresses and things, you know, like, so to keep your mind calm and keep your body healthier, I think, you know, just even for your health alone, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of that. The ladies are going to get so much benefit from hearing how this has affected you. So yeah, I really appreciate your time. So thank you so much.
Shannon.
Thank you.